So how the function able to reduce temperature and save energy?
The only way to save energy in the kitchen, including in the dining area or inclusive like those who prefer to sit outdoor, the way besides just using aircon, evaporative air cooler will be the ideal way. Why? Because most of the practice in Malaysia, the kitchen replacement air is just what they extract the air from outside, supply into the kitchen. But most of them foresees that there is another new technology that you can reduce the temperature, like I mentioned, using the evaporative air cooler to supply into the kitchen. So because it's already reduced 1 to 5 degrees, so one you continuously, let's say 1 hour, 4 air change, 6 air change, 8 air change, or 12 air change. I mean, in 60 minutes, I replace 4 or 6 air change. I mean the replacement air, but with reduced temperature. So those people who work inside the kitchen, they can feel the difference. Including, let's say, like now we are in this place. Let's say they want to have a good air quality. So evaporative air cooler is one of the solution. And inside the evaporative cooler, you even can put the UV light. So putting in the UV light, it means that whatever they extract the air into the evaporative cooler, they have killed the germs, the bacteria, before the reduced temperature discharge into the kitchen, dining, and the outdoor dining. Because mostly in our local here, they prefer the outdoor dining, they use aircon. But frankly speaking, it's not going to achieve the temperature drop. But evaporative cooler is able to achieve the cooling effect, plus with a very economic energy consumption.
Okay, so which country's common practice uses evaporative air cooler?
Okay, actually it's quite commonly used in Australia because during their summertime it's very high temperature, including in Middle East like Mecca, and include like Dubai, and even KL, a lot of factories are also using it, including Middle East.
So why they use this evaporative air cooler application?
Because that don't just be mentioned about in the F&B industry, including in the SME industry, I mean the small medium industry factory. So the only way to achieve a comfortable temperature and have a low energy consumption is by using the evaporative cooler to reduce the temperature, and including the replacement air, and they have the air change.
So there are some restaurants doing steamboats and barbecues. Their environment is very smelly and very uncomfortable, as there's a lot of smoke all around.
The first thing in like you mentioned, like in a BBQ restaurant, because the restaurant is in a confined space where they only use the cassette aircon or maybe in the central aircon. But when you do the BBQ, it generates the heat, it generates the cooking oil mist. So that smell, the oil and the heat, you actually need to extract it out. So the only way is supply fresh air in, reduce temperature, and extract it out. So the effective way is using the evaporative cooler, more effective and save energy.
So as you can see, some restaurant or kopitiam is having a steaming pot inside the dining hall and area. So 这是继续的。
到 area 那边就停了，我就 answer 给你了。So I think the kopitiam will be having the similar situation like the BBQ. So now in a kopitiam, either they are go into the aircon type or the open concept. Let's say either is go by aircon or even go through the open concept to achieve a reasonable temperature. As well, now we having this COVID-19, that everyone is concerned about especially like including the delta. So using evaporative will be a very ideal because that I supply the fresh air in with reduced temperature and then extract out. So it's A in, A out, A in, A out. But in an aircon system, it's keep on recycle. So if the aircon system, they do not put in any system to kill the germs and bacteria. So one person have this virus, it will spread the whole building or the whole restaurant.
Okay, so these items will create significant heat whereby to neutralize the cool air from air conditioning.
你怎么我没有这个的？
最后一题，
这个
哦，在这边，yes，这个，在这边。
是。哦，OK，so 你就是这一题吗？是？
不是这个。
哦，OK。Yes, the is a good engineering combination because that if an air conditioning system, if you can able to combine with the evaporative cooler system, so at the same time it can have more fresh air from outside, and then the aircon system will have run with a lower energy, consume lesser energy. OK，
所以现在我就问这些啦。OK， so
还有一题这一题 B1。
So, what were the biggest challenge that you faced when you started the kitchen electrostatic air cleaner in the local market?
看一下先。Okay, the biggest challenge I face the air cleaner in our local market. First is the government side, because we lack of the city hall. We lack of the health department, we lack of the DOE to foresee how they can actually update their bylaw and how they're going to be enforced the bylaw. So for so many years I've been practicing this market for 20 over years, that from the day one until now, that the bylaw is not clear. Example, I give you a very good example. Let's say a row of shop. If it's one of the operator, the trading license they use cafe, the word of cafe, they can wipe off, not need to use the kitchen air cleaner. But actually, the type of cooking actually is exactly like a coffee shop or maybe in like a restaurant. So just because of the word of cafe, they can wipe off for using the air cleaner. So that is one of the government loopholes. And further than that, the enforcement, because that in some of the neighbor country, the enforcement have a very clear, well-educated knowledge that when they go and inspect the every outlet, they have the knowledge that how a system should be function, and how to determine that the system need to be do the servicing and maintenance. So we are not in that level yet. And secondly, we also face another challenge is our local kitchen supplier, because that most of the practice in our local here, the kitchen supplier, because they foresee there is a business opportunity, so they also involve our industry, but actually they have no ideas how to do the design, how to do the calculation, how to do the engineering. So they just use how just to do it, but actually they become that they affect the image of us that we are just like them. And the market also lack of education, knowledge that how a system should be. And the F&B owner also unable to identify between the domestic and the commercial kitchen air cleaner. And most of the local only concern the price factor. That is the biggest challenge that I'm facing.
Okay. So how do you overcome the obstacles?
不好意思啦。
你可以看他，哎喏，都你講緊你看他資源的，咁如果你看他嘅看他嘅，
OK，
so you just free time when you get to fun，
唔看下咬嘢靚仔。
放一放佢，
啊，放下天啊，咁樣。
看他就，
啊
放天落去冇掃噶啦。
啊，佢一放下天下 Adrian 也可以。
so 然後以後資源，你看他嘅花，咁看他係攞嚟講嘅話，你看他嘅看他你，所以佢個資源啦，你就冇變嘅啦，變嘅，看你又變嘅，冇學嘅，啊咁樣啊，看他變嘅，看他嘅。So 你講到是探晒。If you try to remember the question, 他係怎樣畫開問題畫計，ảnh hưởng đến đấy. Có nghĩa là khi nó là đứa testing còn con nào, không nghĩ ít tiền rồi hay nghĩ ảnh hưởng đến đấy. Hay là script theo xây mà làm thế nào?
Okay.
So, you don't use but.
唔可以用白啊。
You put but however, cái đầu however but however is but however 就係 but so 如果用 but 喺後處理 however 咧雙正面咧
OK however 啦
OK
OK
cash 追 cash 哦 cash money 嘅頭間嗰個
OK
OK
OK so to overcome the obstacles that we need to continue provide training to the architect, the interior designer, the M&E consultant, the management corporation, the building manager.
Okay. But why is it so hard for local business owners accept and apply kitchen electrostatic air cleaner?
B3 master. Okay, we are facing lack of from the state government or the federal government to provide knowledge and the education, the importance of the kitchen air cleaner. Like some of the country, they have provided the knowledge to the F&B owner that whatever you cook, you discharge out to the exhaust. I mean the exhaust ducting. The final point is the pollution to the air. That some of the countries they provide the education that if you don't treat the air now, the future generation have to pay for the price.
Yeah.
So we do not have that power of the state or the federal government to provide the education to every generation. And secondly, I noticed some of the country by using the environment friendly, they even provide tax relief or even cash income tax rebate. Okay.
So, how you foresee future kitchen electrostatic air cleaner in the local market?
It's not easy. Your state government do not have a clear direction and concern on the pollution care or concern. So as long if the state government do not take the lead to take the first move with the NGO, it's really not easy for us. So just based on us, we can't make much change at all.
So, is it possible for kitchen electrostatic air cleaner and evaporative air cooler combined applied into kitchen?
Yes, it can be compatible, and I did a few projects in here that I combine the kitchen air cleaner and the evaporative air cooler together. I can share with you one project that I did that the kitchen was in a very high temperature of their existing kitchen. Actually, when I with my M&E consultant, when we took over this project before we start, we told the client in a very conservative way that we say that we might only reduce a minimum of temperature. But after that, when the project was done and the owner had do the cooking and the others of things that involved in the kitchen, the kitchen temperature have reduced more than 5 degrees, and furthermore, the client was so happy that whatever they have installed, the aircon can completely switch off. That running the kitchen fully with the evaporative cooler, where the staff do the heavy cooking, none of the staff in the kitchen are sweating at all. And after a year, the client and met me and told he appreciate me a lot, that his dining area, the electric consumption they are paying monthly is nearly about 5,000. And he said that he switched on our evaporative cooler for 24 hours a day. The electrical cost was less than 900 ringgit. So that will give me the confidence to move on by combining the evaporative cooler with the kitchen air cleaner to move into the kitchen. It's a good combination engineering.
Yeah. So can you explain more evaporative air cooler application into kitchen for any industries usable?
Yes. Actually, beside F&B, we also have tried to educate to the supermarket, because supermarket, they install quite a numbers of aircon. They have a very high consumption of electricity consumption. Recently, one of my clients had told me that his supermarket is paying nearly to 20K a month for electricity, and we are working with them. They're able to help them to save the energy more than 70% by applying the evaporative air cooler system. So this is another market we are moving in. As well, we also provide to the local SME, the factory of this evaporative cooler, because that factory, no way you're going to install an aircon, because you install the aircon, the electrical consumption will be extremely high. So by applying evaporative cooler, it can cool down the factory. As well, they can able to enjoy a very low energy consumption. So there will be a good application. But actually, evaporative cooler is never been new to Australia, Middle East and Dubai, because that evaporative cooler was in the market more than 20 years. It's only new to our local market only.搞掂啦，輝哥，搞掂啦。
closing 啊。
you closing， closing 啦，你要講一點東西啦。現在又到回你了啊 ，concentrate 嘅啦，挨冇開啦。
But closing 要講什麼呢？
應該是怎麼樣呢 ？closing 他應該要講什麼東西呢？挨冇諗到 closing， 你邊下 idea？
多謝 Mr. Chong 經驗經驗咗，你就很 comprehensive 嘅explanation，你亦 clear 嘅 doubts，因為捱業好耐，都唔得，有東西叫你去都變係計嘅。
哦。
OK，所以經驗我哋多謝 Mr. Chong。我們對大家嘅東西，希望係啱嘅 sharing， 見到當日嘅關注，就後嘅答案啦。希望以後我哋又要很多時嘅 chapter 俾我，咁。
Okay. Okay. I will try. So thank you, Mr. Chong, for sharing all the informations. For I've been doubting for many years. I don't know how would people solve this kind of problems and situations. 可以吧？这样。
我看那个 script 你要写给 Miss Gong 好了。
And then I hope this video gives you a clear information about 讲这个 about solving these problems.
你講其他我呢嘅。
Okay, about solving these problems, and we hope to have more different chapters regarding on this. Okay, yeah. Thank you for watching. Yeah. Bye. Yeah.